It really explains the process of an educator to then become a speaker. And also the balance of, specifically for myself and for Meg, being an educator while being a speaker, what I did for a long while as well. And, kind of moving in that vein, what that's all about. Because there's a lot of people who think they may want to do this or not want to do this. And I think hearing our stories could really help with that.
Welcome to the School Climate and Culture Show. Hosted by Steve, a passionate advocate of positive school climate and culture, together with Meg and 𝙠𝙠. Join us as we explore strategies, share success stories, and provide actionable tips to improve the culture and climate in your school.
Hey, everybody. This is Steve Bowler, Stand Tall Steve, along with
Meg and 𝙠𝙠.
Yes, and hey, how we doing? We're here back again with the School Climate and Culture Show. I'm kind of excited about this episode. It's different. This is totally different episode because this is the episode where you're going to get to know about you and I. This is, we figured, people have been listening to us for a little bit. Before, they may have listened to the Stand Tall Leadership Show, where I've been on it for many years. You came on the latter part of it. But we never really broke down about who you are and who I am, how we got into this and how this all came about. So that's what we got going on.
A little get to know you episode.
A get to know you episode. A get to know you episode. Now, for those of you that are listening, don't roll your eyes and say, I don't want to listen to this. No, you want to listen to this. Come on. Come on. You want to hear this. Trust me. You're going to want to hear this because it really explains the process of an educator to then become a speaker. And also the balance of, specifically for myself and for Meg, being an educator while being a speaker, what I did for a long while as well. And, kind of moving in that vein, what that's all about. Because there's a lot of people who think they may want to do this or not want to do this. And I think hearing our stories could really help with that.
Yeah.
So, and I know when we came up with this idea, I know you did some reflecting. I know you were thinking about, when we got together and what you've gone through. What kind of emotions came up for you?
Oh, well, at first I was like, oh gosh, that was a while ago. That was exciting. That was a lot, and just kind of like the growing pains of all of it and not really, I think it's more exciting because I didn't think that this was the path that it was going to lead me on. And so that makes it just that much better.
Yeah, that's the other thing. From where we are right now, and granted, neither of us are done as to our growing and where we're going to go with all of this. But I think both of us can say we didn't realize we'd be this far. We're at this point at the beginning of this at all.
No.
So, yeah. So, okay. So this is exciting. Okay, here we go. So the way this is going to work is Megan is going to go first. I'm going to be kind of interviewing her a little bit as we go through. And then we're going to switch it over to me. And Meg will do a little kind of interview with me to kind of guide the questions and such like that. So with that being said, let's dive into it. Meg, how did you get into this? How did this start for you?
Okay. Well, honestly, it started in the teacher's lounge over lunch. Okay.
Over lunch. Some of the best ideas happen in the teacher's lounge over lunch, right?
Absolutely.
It's like a bar on a napkin in a bar. Oh, we wrote it down on a napkin in a bar.
That's exactly how it kind of worked out that way. I say ours because my now best friend, teaching partner, business partner, dynamic duo, our ideas came. I asked her if she would start running with me. And so we started running together and our ideas came on the track. About how to help our students become more engaged in the classroom and how could we better teach them. It wasn't working. Were we going to quit or should we find a reason? So as we got through with that, we had this phenomenal idea. And one night, sitting in my living room, I thought we should talk to people about this. We should present it at a conference or something.
So let me back up a little bit. So you two were talking in the lounge.
Yep.
Said, let's go for a run. You started running, you started coming up with ideas, then you started implementing these ideas. And from implementation to formalization, does this make sense? So when did you start formalizing these ideas to really be something as opposed to just another cool idea?
Well, we started using our new way of thinking in our classrooms. So for a couple of years, we realized that if we start integrating content together, bringing them fun experiences, that we were more excited to come to class every day and our students were coming excited and they were growing. And so we had this great data to prove that what we were doing was working. Our school district asked us to create a curriculum for their science. And so Kara and I worked with the University of Wyoming, and we created a science curriculum for our district. So through that work, we were kind of learning how to look at the standards and put things together. And we decided to take that one step further. So the work in our classroom started working out very well. We started telling some of our friends about it. They started using some of the things that we were coming up with. And we decided that we need to start sharing it with more teachers. We just wanted to be as helpful as possible.
Now you went back to school and got your master's, right? And you did all of this with your master's thesis, right? That's when you really kind of mapped it all out. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, actually, Integrated started the same year that I started my master's program in integrating arts and tech. And so we kind of decided we needed to speak about it. And we started applying to conferences just to talk to other teachers, not really understanding what that looks like.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So how many people can resonate with this, right? You have a good idea. You're seeing some traction with it. You're talking with your buddy. You're like, hey, we should present this somewhere. We should show somebody this. We can't be the only ones. And then certain people, you don't go any further from that. You say you coulda, shoulda, woulda. You don't actually step out and start applying to conferences, to be a breakout presenter, start looking. You actually took the step to do it and says, you know what? Let's actually look at some things to do. And you started doing it, this is the one thing I really love about you, is that you say, okay, and then you actually do it. I don't know if it's just gumption or naiveness, but you go, you do it.
Well,
make it happen.
At this part in time, Kara and I are kind of just jump into the deep end and hope that it works out. And if it doesn't, we swim back and try it all over again. So honestly, when we started to propose to conferences, we didn't even know what that looked like. So we just literally typed into Google best conferences in, the United States, and we went. And somehow, right after COVID, we got accepted to go to a national conference in San Antonio. We thought, well, this will be cool. We're going to get all kinds of people that are going to want to listen. Well, there was 6.
6? Wow. Look at you. National conference. You got 6.
Yes.
There you go.
It was great. In defense, it was also virtual. So, there might have been some online. We rocked it. We just presented from the heart and hoped that someone could learn from what we have to say. And we kept trying.
Right. Now, the name of your organization is called Integrated. When did that come about? When did you come up with Integrated?
Most of what we were trying to share with teachers is how to integrate content together. Because what we were feeling is there's not enough time. We don't have enough time to do all the things. And so what's happened, science, social studies, all of those things go away and you can't get to them, which they're actually a very big foundation of your learning. So we needed the word integration somewhere. We wanted that to be the forefront of it. And so we just started putting down all of the words that we could think of that would relate to what we're doing. And somehow integrated came up, meaning the integration in education.
There you go. All right. So that's what you did. So, okay. So now a national conference grabbed you. They said, okay, which conference was this?
It was the Innovative Schools Summit.
Innovative School Summit. So they grabbed you to do a conference in San Antonio.
Yep.
You did it. You had 6 people in the room. You had some online, whatever. You felt like you rocked it. How did you feel after that first presentation?
We were on cloud 9. We had pictures everywhere with the signs, and we were talking to everybody. I mean, we paid our way there. We paid our way to get into the conference. We paid for the hotel. I mean, we forked out so much. And we left, so excited, so empowered. And we're like, we should do this more. We should try to tell more people.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Okay. So now you got something. You got some traction. You did a conference. You went back to your school, your district. What happened? Did you do more? What did you do?
Honestly, we kind of sat quiet with what we were doing. We went back in our class and we're like, whoa, that was cool. We should try to do this again. So we just kept doing the work in the classroom,
right? Helping the students.
And applied some more. and decided that we're gonna keep going. That I think what we have is very helpful for educators,
Right.
and we can deliver it in a way that could be purposeful for teachers. That was our main goal, is how could we reach people like us?
Right.
So then we applied again, and we got into a couple conferences in like Colorado, tiny places. We did some virtual conferences, and then again, we made it to a national, the Innovative Schools in Las Vegas.
In
And
Vegas. Okay.
so,
So you ended up going to Vegas, big time, right? Innovative Schools Conference, Vegas. I'm sure both of you were like, what? We
yeah.
made it big time. Yeah, you're hyped up.
Yeah, no, we walked into the room that we were going to present and we were in a breakout, and I was like, I don't know if we should be, this room is huge. If you go to Vegas, their rooms, their ceilings are
yeah, monstrous.
huge.
Yeah.
They're huge. There's so many chairs. And so the excitement of that and the nervousness of it and all the things, and we just did again. We just were us.
How many were in this one? How many were in this one? How many attendees?
There was probably between like 50 and 80 people, I think.
Okay, nice. Moved up from 6. There you go.
Yep, moving up.
Yep.
And then with that, we started, trying to figure out different ways to reach people. So we started an integrated cohort, which is all virtual. So from that, people are like, how can we get to you? How can we learn what you're doing? Can you be with us? And so people started to join our cohort, and that traction kept going. And to be honest with you, that is the conference that we met you.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a conference that we first met. There was some tackling involved, and I don't appreciate that, but I got up after, and I told you, please let go of my leg, and then we continued on. No, but yeah, we did. We met at that conference. That's what it was. Yes.
What it was, though, I think that there was some clarity for Kara and I of what speakers actually do, what it could amount to. To be honest with you, I had no idea that people could do this as a job or as a bigger part. That I thought just you were randomly selected. I don't know how I thought it worked.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And so watching you on stage, I was like, oh, I need to do that. I see how you're doing this. This is really good. And then the fault that you had was that you put your cell phone number on the slide and said, if you want to do this, you should contact me.
Well, I put up there, if you want any, if you want to connect, whatever, I put it up there for principals and others to have me hire them. Not for people to say, oh, yeah, because I wasn't doing within our ranks necessarily at that moment, but it's okay. You put it up there and you reached out and contacted me because it was up there. So that was good.
And I stood in a very long line and bought your book so that I could have a conversation.
Yes, and we have that photo of that conversation. That first time that we met, we took a picture of it. We have that photo and everything. And from there, you pretty much stay connected with Innovative Schools Summit. And you're able to work with them more and more and more and more. Yeah,
now, it's been 2 years, I think. We're on our 3rd year. And we are in schools, working with schools with our integrated framework. We're going to conferences and reaching a lot more people than 6. We just, all of those things, I feel it's just so purposeful, and it's just so, balancing it with teaching full time. I'm still 3rd grade teacher full time. I'm a mom of 4, and speaking, balancing that, it just gives you power when you know that your impact is making it happen.
That's it. And I remember, like, when we met and we stayed connected and we talked a little bit, and then we kept connecting. We kept talking a little bit more. Then I would see you at the next conference that I was at. They called me back again. And I noticed something in you guys. Like, I really noticed in you and Kara what it is that you're doing. I got a deeper understanding because we talked about what it is that you were trying to do and how you were presenting it, and the power that it has for schools. Being that I just speak on culture climate, I don't do instruction and curriculum. Hey, let me help you guys. Let me get you guys to the next level. You guys really seemed genuinely interested, and that's when we got you into Within Our Ranks. For the training for Within Our Ranks. And I think that really kind of catapulted you guys to really understand the world of professional speaking in K-12 education and what that's all about. So
I think Within Our Ranks, it was life-changing. You know, when we met and I went through the program with you, it was every month we would meet virtually. And I literally couldn't wait for the next time that we would meet because it would just spark another idea and off we would go. And I think no matter what position you would be as in a speaker, like where you're at in your path, that it's just such powerful information. I would not be where we integrated would not be where it's at without your help. So I'm so glad you put that phone number up there.
I know, right? You know, I don't think that would have stopped you anyway.
No.
You know, you were in line anyway, and and I think in line you said, "Hey, you did text me and say, hey, how about we get together for a drink?" And so we met for a drink, and then we started talking. Then me, you, Kara, and Jessica, my assistant. So
I awkwardly made us wait until there was no one else left to talk to you.
Yeah, so that way I want as much time as possible to talk. That's it. Well, thank you for sharing your story. That was like, hopefully that kind of inspires a lot of educators out there who maybe they've done a couple breakout sessions at conferences, or they have some knowledge or some strategies that are just like, you know what, I really need to help other educators with it. It's totally possible. And you notice she said she just Googled some conferences and then applied. It was simple.
Yeah.
Take the step.
We got denied quite a few times, you know, I mean, and we just kept going and you just kept going. I think that if you're passionate about something and you see the impact that it can make and you just keep trying, you can make it happen for yourself.
You definitely can. 100%. 100%. Boom. There you go. So now we know Megan Ďeďi. We understand integrated, where it came from, what you're doing, and you're still moving forward. You're still doing some stuff. So at the end, after I'm done, we'll go back and we'll say what's next for each of us, like what we're looking at to do, what's next for us. All right. Boom. All right,
Steve, it's your turn. It's your turn. Let's hear how you kind of got into this and how you became where you're at now.
Yeah, so for me, it was 22 years ago. I think it's 22 years. Yes, 21 or 22 years ago. So I went to a conference as an attendee. At that conference, I did present. I was presenting my ideas. It was very rough, very, very rough. But in that conference, the closing keynote speaker was a guy named 𝙈𝙐𝙨, very popular, well-known, world-renowned speaker. At the time, he wasn't, but he was still a very, very good speaker at the time. And I've heard speakers at the end of conferences before, many times, right? I've been to conferences. I was a school administrator. I was a newer school administrator. And so usually when I sit there and listen to the speaker, I'm writing stuff down. I'm all in. Like, give me the inspiration. Give me the motivation. Yeah. This time, in listening to him, it was totally different. It was totally different. I was analyzing how he was doing it, as opposed to, I did listen to what he said, but I was like, oh, okay, he's saying things fast now. Oh, he just really got everybody's attention right there. Oh, wait, he's singing. Oh, wait, he did this. I was breaking it all down, and I kept thinking to myself, similar to what you did, I could do that. That's what I want to do. I can do that. And mind you, 𝙈𝙐𝙨's not an educator. He's not. Now, he's spoken education in the past. He did student assemblies and stuff, but he's not an educator or a formal educator by any means. So I waited in the long line and I got up there to buy his books and CDs and tapes, because that's what it was back then. And I remember asking him, I was like, hey, how do you do this? How do you do this, what you were doing? And I remember he was like, yeah, hey, man, stay focused. You got to get your mind. And he was all in presenter mode. And I literally interrupted him. No, stop. No, I'm serious. How do you do this speaking thing? How do you do this? And he stopped. He looked at me. You're serious? I says, yes. He says, you need to go to NSA National Conference. I says, the NSA, yes, the National Speakers Association. They have a national conference. You go to that. You'll learn everything you need to know. And I remember saying to him, all right, I'll go to your little conference. When is the conference? And he's like, it's next weekend in Orlando. Now, mind you, this conference was in Minnesota, and I paid my own money for myself and my wife to go. And we didn't have a ton of money. We actually dished out some good money to try to get there, because she wanted to go to the Mall of America, to be honest with you. That's what she really wanted. So, but it is what it is. So he says, look, if you're very serious about this, here's my phone number. It's my personal, again, here's my phone number. Here's my email. He says, registration is closed, but I know people. I can get you in. Registration's $500. And there you go. I said, okay, thank you very much. Took some photos, blah, blah, blah. I have no idea what those photos are, whatever. But anyway, So I went back to my room because we weren't leaving until the next day. And I remember I was sitting on the edge of my bed with my hands down. I was looking down at the floor and I was contemplating this thing. And I remember my wife said, "You really think you need to go to this conference, don't you?" I says, "Yes, I think I'm supposed to be there." She says, "You really do?" I says, "Yes, I think I'm supposed to learn how to speak. This is what I'm supposed to do." Like it was deep in my heart. Like this is it. And she's like, "Okay, well then let's figure it out. When we get home, we'll email them," because we didn't have a laptop. Back then you go to your desktop and you email. So I said, when you get home, so I emailed him. I called and left a voice message and he got back to me. Somehow we got the money together and off I went the next weekend. I got a ticket. I flew coach in a seat that I couldn't fit in. I didn't have enough to stay at the hotel where we're staying. I stayed at this dive hotel. It was bad. It was bad. It was a dive hotel. Little car I could barely fit in, but off I went. And I got there and I learned that public speaking is a profession. Like you, I had no idea that this was something that people did for a living. No clue. And it was life-changing. It was I met Willie while I was there, met some amazing people. And I remember he said to me, "When you go back home, get connected with the local chapter of NSA, which was Philadelphia for me, which is the closest one." So I did what he told me to do. And I did. And that's when I started to learn about the world of professional speaking. I joined NSA National. I joined the local chapter. And whenever I could, I would go to a meeting, which was hard because I was a school administrator and the meetings were Friday afternoons. And so I would go to maybe 3 meetings a year, maybe 4. But I would get their newsletters. I would get their magazines. I would practice. I would find places to speak. I was speaking at principals meetings and local county things and state events. And, I would go to a couple of conferences that the district would send me to. And then I would say, okay, I'm going to speak there. And it started to grow. And that's when I developed Stand Tall Steve. And it grew and it grew and it grew slowly, like for 15 years, slowly. It grew. Eventually I got a website. Okay, I'm going to get a website. I created my own website. I did it myself. No web designer. I have a degree in art. I'm an art major. I was an art major. I had a degree in art. So I created my own website. I got some photos done by a friend. You look back now, it's shabby. Oh, it was rough. It was rough. I made all the wrong decisions. I had a keynote called the 10 Stand Tall Tips to Stand Tall Through It All. It's long behind name.
Long.
Yeah, that is long. But my goal was I'm going to have 10 tips. But for a 1-hour keynote, I'm only going to give you 5. If you want the other 5, have me come to your school and I'll come and get, I was trying to just play, it was stupid. That was dumb. So, but yeah, that's what it was. That's what got me started. That's what got me started.
I think the common thread in both of us is the perseverance. We've made bad decisions. We've made bad choices. Things didn't work out,
Right.
I'm still rocking my own web design website, and it is glorious.
It is. Actually, yours is not bad at all. It's pretty good. But now they have templates and they have things. Back then there was no templates. You just you put blinky things on a web page and you just made it happen. But yeah.
We have Canva now. Canva is
you got Canva. You got stuff. There's just you can rock it out with that. Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Like when I was doing this, and I love NSA. Trust me, I love National Speakers Association. It is the premier association for professional speakers in the world. It is phenomenal. But most of the training, most of the information that you gain from NSA is based around corporate speaking. It's based around corporate speaking, nonprofit speaking, healthcare speaking. A lot of those, because a lot of people who are going to speaking, they may do some educational speaking, but they talk to students, right? And then they cut their teeth there and then they go into corporate. So a lot of things that I had to learn, I had to adjust and shift for K-12 education because we're different.
Yes.
We're just different. The way that you do sales in corporate is not the way you do sales in K-12. The way that you connect with corporate is not the way you connect in K-12. Because in K-12 speaking, there's youth speaking, and then there's K-12 educational speaking, where you're talking to the adults as opposed to talking to the students. And then there's higher ed speaking, and then there's K-12 speaking. So there was a lot of things I messed up, basically saying, I messed up a lot trying to implement these things exactly verbatim as they said for me to do it. They're like, this is what you got to do. And it just backfired terribly. But again, like what you said, perseverance. I was just like, okay, didn't work, try something else. Okay, didn't work. Okay, try something else. Okay, didn't work, try something else. And then eventually I had to step back and just say, okay, what am I doing here? Use my knowledge. And that's what I did. I started using my educational knowledge to really fine tune it. So there you go. That's what it was. So I guess the next part of this for me is when I actually left being an administrator over to being a full-time speaker, because that's something.
That's huge. That jump. Yeah, I think that is a
huge
thing. Like, what does that look like for you? How did you decide to do that and then just go for it?
Now, here's the thing. Yes, the thing is I knew that eventually this is what I'm going to do for my life. I knew it. It was in the back of my head. But the fear was, one, father of 3. I got a mortgage. I got 2 dogs. I got 10 fish. Got a wife. I got property. I got responsibilities, right? Mm-hmm. I need to have a regular paycheck coming in. And I know that the speaking industry can be very flexible as far as money is concerned. And I wanted to get to a part that I was like, consistent. You got to get to a certain level where you get that consistent money. And I knew what it looked like, but it's like getting there is going to be tough. So I was a superintendent of a charter network. I left public school. I joined a charter network because and I get it. Some people have an issue in public school with charter. I was like, you know what? Let's give it a shot. Let's see what it's all about. I'm not gonna knock it. And there's some good things with charter. Me and this charter just didn't get along. This charter network just didn't get along. I was a superintendent of all these charter schools in New Jersey. And we mutually agreed that we needed to leave each other. I was actually in my car on my way to the office with my resignation letter. I was on my way there to say, at the end of this school year, I am done. And they called me while I was driving and said, hey, Steve, I don't think this is working. I said, I agree. They were just like, I think we need to go separate ways with everything. I agree. Yes, it was like mutual. And they're like, I said, well, when do you want this to happen? And they're like, now? Could we just do it like immediate? Yes. I was like, yes. Yes, we can. Yes, we can. I don't think this ever happened to anybody. You get a mutual, okay, done. So with that, I got a little bit of a severance package because when you work with it was a corporate business that oversaw these charter schools. So it was written into the contract was a severance package. So we had a little bit of something that was given to me. And at that point, I was thinking, you know what? I've been doing this for 15 years on the side. Let's go for it. Let's make it happen. Let's do it. Let's do it. So I leaned in heavy to Stand Tall Steve. I reevaluated everything and I called every contact I had, every conference I ever spoke at, and I just went to town like, hey, and it wasn't a beg. Like I wasn't begging for it. It was a, hey, guess what? I am fully available. Get out. Now you can really get me. Now I framed it in that way. And so I got some speaking opportunities. But the first two years, they were tough. They were tough. They were tough. I went from a very, very good salary down to not nearly as much. Credit started going up again, and but it started to kick in. It was like, okay, I got with Innovative Schools Conference. That was between the Johnston's Conference, Innovative Schools Summit. That's when things really were like, boom, here we go, we're rolling. And then of course COVID kicked in and messed some stuff up.
Reevaluate all the things.
Yeah, well, that was before that, right? That was before that conference.
Yep.
It was.
Yep.
But still, it was, but I always say the best thing that happened to my business was COVID. It really was. I mean, I was getting some traction. COVID came in and bumped everything down, but I had been using Zoom for a while. I had been trying to get schools to have me Zoom in to their faculty meetings. And I was going to charge them like $50 for me to come to their faculty meetings. But schools didn't understand Zoom. I learned about Zoom from NSA. So I'd been using Zoom for like 3 or 4 months before the pandemic hit. And so when the pandemic hit, I was like, boom, let's do it. I was doing webinars. I was doing faculty meetings. And my email list before the pandemic had about 3,000 people on it. 2 months, not even 2 months, probably like 6 weeks into the pandemic, my email list went to 12,000. And And then after that, everybody started knowing who I was, and it just kind of took off from there.
And here you are now.
And here I am
mean,
now.
Yeah, I mean, just in the time that you and I have known each other, I've kind of watched you go from that speaking engagement in an ISS and move to international, speaking internationally, and, just kind of all the pieces that you have this big vision, and it's just kind of all fitting together. And I think when you're talking about your journey through your speaking, that you had a lot of bumps, a lot of mistakes, a lot of things that didn't go very well, but yet that perseverance moving forward, trying something else and using what you know about education and how it works.
Right. And I appreciate you saying persevering, trying something else. Sometimes I didn't try something else. Sometimes I says, you know what? I know this is going to work. I'm going to keep trying to do this. I'm going to adjust. And so I would just adjust something just a little bit and then do it again. Oh, still not hitting. All right, I'm going to adjust again. Oh, that's it. It's because sometimes people run away from something like, I didn't work, go do something else. Sometimes, we got to make some adjustments. Just adjust a little bit. Adjust a little bit. Like even now, like my keynote, the keynote that I did back when we first met to now, oh my gosh. I mean, it's still a good keynote. It was, I was rocking it before. Yes.
It was good. It was good.
It was good. It was good. That was a good keynote. Yeah. But it's even tighter now. I mean, it is just, you keep making adjustments. You keep making changes. I just made a change just the last time I spoke with my slides and what I put in there in the slides and stuff. You keep learning, you keep adjusting, you keep doing it. So that's what it is.
You say something to the effect of, do not compare your beginning to somebody else's end or middle. Yeah. And so many times that we work together that I constantly have to tell myself, like, oh yeah, there's a learning process in this, there's a growing process. It's just part of it. So I think anyone that's thinking about, maybe it's not even speaking, maybe it's just like getting up and sharing your ideas with someone. It just, as little as that could be, just to take that step and just give it a go.
Give it a go. Give it a go. And if you're somebody who rambles on, give it a go, ramble on. And I always tell everybody who's speaking, record yourself. If you can't video record it, audio record it, listen. And then don't say, oh, it was terrible. I can't believe I did it. I can't listen to myself. No, listen to yourself and then do it again and make some adjustments. Record yourself. Listen again. I still record every speech I give and I listen to the whole thing. It's just, that's how that adjusts. Yeah. So the question is then, okay, what's next? All right. We talked about how we got to here. So I'm putting to you, what's next? What's next?
Gosh, sometimes it's just wherever it takes us, but I like to have a path. So integrated is starting a book process where we're writing a story, writing a book. It's hard to say when you say it out loud. You're like, wow, that's crazy. We're there. And, honestly, just continuing to help educators with the knowledge that we have with integration and experiences. We are going to stay in the classroom as long as we can and speak, because I think there's power in us doing the work and having that connection with our educators. We're just going to keep moving forward.
That's it. That's it. Good. Yeah. And I'm excited for you for that. I really am excited for you for that. I want to see that journey with you with that. And that's part of the reason why I said, hey, you need to join me on this podcast. Like this makes sense. It's like you have that educational classroom, instructional teacher side, that really provides value. And I can see that growth that's happening for you. That's good.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Where are you headed?
All right. So, I'm building a city on the moon. Like I'm going over the top. No, I'm working on a book as well. I have a book that's coming out. I don't know when this recording is coming out. It's probably coming out at the beginning of October, but October 15th, we have another book coming out, the 10-minute classroom starters for secondary, 6 through 12. So the first one's K to 5. This one's 6 through 12. It's coming out. That's really exciting. I have my book that I'm writing, and I'm going to say this to everyone right now. I'm going to manifest it because I'm still The Educator's Guide to Improving Climate and Culture. That's what I'm doing. I am writing that book, which is a step-by-step outline of how to improve the climate and culture at the classroom level, building level, district level. And it's going to, break down all the pieces to it and everything. It's going to be not only good information, but it's going to be like a workbook. Like, read it. do this, and it'll really give you those great ideas of what you can do to make that happen. So we got that going on. Yeah, I'm starting to look at some more international speaking opportunities. There's schools all over the world. Why not?
Yes.
And get into some conferences, just get to schools. And then within our ranks, obviously I created within our ranks because so many educators like you have great information, good knowledge that they can share with others, and they just don't understand the speaking world, the speaking business, specifically K-12. So within our ranks, I keep saying we're going to really kick off our speaking bureau, but we're going to kick off our speaking bureau. We're going to keep the learning going with educators coming to our retreats that we have. And yeah, that's what it is. I mean, eventually I would love for everyone to know what within our ranks is. Like, it's a common understanding in all schools. Hey, we're getting a within our ranks speaker. Oh, they're one of us. They're one of us. That's a different level.
And it's like any other thing that I've seen. I think just being in it, being a participant and now helping you with it, and making those calls with you, listening to some of these educators that want to speak professionally. When you attend these retreats, it's for you. You can feel the personalization, and I think every time, it's my favorite to see them start on Friday and then to leave on Sunday. Oh, I get so excited. Like, when they walk in on Friday, I'm like, you have no idea what you're walking into.
Yeah, your life is about to change.
Yes.
And you know what? I think the moment that really flips them just like crazy is when I break down how to put a speech together. That they sit there and it's like, we need a break. As soon as we're done with that,
Literally.
their minds are just done.
Yeah.
That one guy, what's the terrain? He couldn't even get himself together.
No, it was great. And literally, the last retreat we had, they were like, we need to stop. We need to like talk about this.
Let's talk about kittens and clouds for a second, because what their minds are just blown. So, but it works. You're right. It's the transformation of understanding this business, understanding what makes quality educational PD. Because that's the thing. Everybody in K-12 education, you say professional development, people roll their eyes. They start looking at personal days, and you just did. It's just it's bad.
And I think we sit in watching some of these people and we're like, we could do this better. We could do this. This could be better. And if you're thinking like that, and you try not to do the things that you don't like when you listen to speakers, this might be for you. You might invest in yourself. Invest in
yourself. This is the sad thing. This is the thing that I've actually heard educators say, oh, this PD was so bad, I could do so much better. And then they get an opportunity to do it, and they do a lot of the same things over again because they don't know anything different. They think, oh, I could do so much better, but you end up doing the same kind of thing. There is a different way to do this. There is, and I can show you. I know it's just, and the crazy thing is they're all so simple. They're just simple little things that can just shift it. And it's not just the presentation of it all. It's the business of speaking. The negotiating, the contracting, the consulting, how to consult well, how to coach well, and all those things. So there's
so much in it. And I think the beauty of our journeys is there's ups and downs. There's great things that are happening, but each time, not only you have learned so much in how this works for everybody else, and then you share all that knowledge. And then for people like me are like, oh, I just jumped 5 years ahead of time because I didn't have to make those same mistakes. You've already shared that with us. So
there you go.
It's great.
It is great. It's great. It's wonderful.
Yes.
Well, there you go. There's our stories, gang. We went a little long, but that's okay. Hopefully you stayed with us to the end. And what the question is that I'm going to pose to everybody is this something that you want to do? Is this something that you're interested in? Are you sick and tired of the way the professional development is running? Can you think that you can do better? And you want to? So, in the comments and everything, let us know where your journey is, what you think as it relates to professional development, where you are. Do you want to do more? And if you are, go to withinourranks.com. Withinourranks.com. You do that, check it out, schedule a time for a discovery call with Megan. Megan will be the one that did this discovery call with you. You get to talk to her directly, and then get hooked up with it. And then we'll make it happen, gang.
We're going to make it happen. Yes.
That's it. All right, gang. Hey, thanks so much for staying with us here, Stand Tall Leadership Show. We're so excited because we are now on Apple and Spotify. Since we switched over from the Stand Tall Leadership Show to this, we finally got everything set up with the Climate and Culture Show on Apple and Spotify. All right. So keep an eye out for that. Let all your friends know.
All right, guys. Thanks so much.
All right. Take care, gang.